This is Justin Randolph interviewing Lewis Younger on August 11th, 2022. We're in Clinton, Mississippi. Mr. Younger, how you doing today?
Fine. How about you?
Good. I'm doing good. I'm a little pulled all over the place. So just bear with me if I don't make any sense. But Mr. Younger, you've signed our agreement here. You agree to have your oral history archived.
Yes, sir.
At the Margaret Walker Center, and you understand that you can stop at any point. You need to take a restroom break, anything, just ask, and we'll
All right.
put it on pause. Mr. Younger, let me make sure we've got your name fully. So Lewis, Lewis.
That's correct.
Younger, Younger.
Correct.
You have a middle name?
Truman.
Truman. And do you have a suffix? Are you a junior or senior? Junior. All right. And now this will seem awkward. This is just demographic information, and people in the future can't see us sitting here. So, what gender would you mark on a form if you were given?
Male.
Male. And race?
Black.
And what about religion?
African Methodist Episcopal. AME.
AME. All right. And Christian. Okay. And I've got your address here, and your cell phone number, and your email address. You tell me when and where you were born.
I was born in Eden, Mississippi.
Eden.
In Yazoo County.
Okay.
September the 8th, 1950.
1950. All right.
By a midwife, no hospital.
Midwife, no hospital. Yeah. Okay.
My parents were sharecroppers.
Oh, all right. Well, I want to get into that in a second. Midwife. Do you remember when the hospital came?
Well, there was a hospital in Yazoo City, the Afro-American Hospital and King Daughters Hospital, but we weren't allowed to go to King Daughters. So the Afro-American sons and daughters built a hospital there in Yazoo City.
Yeah. So it's a privately sort of funded.
Sort of, yes.
Yeah.
No state fund.
Okay. Yeah. Right. Well, tell me your parents' names.
Lewis Younger Sr., Mary Ethel Gamble Younger.
Spell her maiden name for me.
Gamble.
Okay, Gamble. And what was her middle name?
Ethel.
Ethel. Okay. All right. And you said they were sharecroppers.
Yeah.
What do you remember about growing up?
Well, we left when I was about 3, but I can vaguely remember, the house we lived in, and that was because we went to church in that community. So even after we moved to Yazoo City, we would be in that area, my parents. So from an early age, I knew where the house was, and, my grandmama's in the house right down the road and all that. And I want to say, if I remember correctly, it was the Strickland plantation.
Okay. So you grew up in sort of what the post office would have been in Eden.
Right. It's just a service station and the post office and all.
Yeah.
And it's pretty much that way right now.
Right. Okay, and you grew up on a plantation. First 3 years, you said.
Right. Then we moved to the town, to Yazoo City, which is the county seat of Yazoo County.
How big was Yazoo City at the time? Do you remember?
Oh, the biggest I ever remember being was around 11,000 people,
Yeah.
And I don't think it's quite that big now, and I'm sure it wasn't at that time.
Yeah.
But I couldn't tell you.
But that was.
I could maybe give you that information, get that information.
No worries. But it must have felt a lot bigger.
Oh, it was town,
Yeah.
Look forward to going there on Saturdays, because after I grew up, we worked. I still worked the field. That was how I made money. We had people that would get a load of people, take them out to different plantations, to pick cotton, pick clear land. We call it picking up stumps.
Yeah.
And chop the cotton in and pick it. Did all that
Yeah.
growing up. And Saturday, was a big day. Everybody ended up in town. I can remember Main Street and Broadway.
Yeah. What kind of stuff did you do on Saturday?
If after a while, well, early on, you just go. You made your money. Dad and them take you. You go. I would go get me some corn candy from McCoy's.
Okay.
And some peanuts.
Yeah.
Go to a movie. And then they do their shopping, pay their bills, and then we go back home.
Yeah.
And after we moved to Yazoo City, you could walk anywhere in Yazoo City. So
Yeah. Yeah.
That's how big it was.
Yeah, you're not going to need a bus to get to the other side.
side.
Yeah. All right. What kind of work did your parents do in Yazoo City?
My dad went to work at Gilbert's Lumber Yard. That's why when we moved to Yazoo City. Mm-hmm. And then my mama was a housewife basically at first, and then she went to work for Martha Coker Convalescent Home, and she retired from there.
So a nurse?
No, just I guess janitorial service, clean the rooms, move the patients around and stuff like that.
Okay.
And then Daddy left Gilbert's Lumber Yard and he retired from Yazoo Ready Mix.
Concrete place.
Yeah.
And would you say that, your parents sort of followed a path of other people that you grew up around?
Pretty much, but we did have teachers and, sorts. We didn't have any policemen, though, black policemen, but,
Yeah.
we did have teachers. Matter of fact, my dad's sister, she went to Jackson State. She taught school, and he had another sister that was teacher. And then it was 13 of them, 9 lived. And most of the boys went off to service. He did also. He served in the U.S. Army in World War II. And when he come back home, he got his high school diploma on what they call a GI Bill back then. Mm-hmm. And then that's what he did. He worked at the, like I say, first for Gilbert's, and then he went to work at the Ready Mix.
Yeah.
And that's where he stayed. And my mama, after he come out the Army, he met my mama, and they married. She was just 10th grade in high school then, so about a 5-year difference in their age. They got married in 49, and I was born in 50.
All right.
I was the oldest
So you
of
were
5
the
kids.
first
yeah.
of 5. All right. Did your mom finish school?
No,
She
never did.
Never did. But
You,
Dad?
you couldn't believe it. I mean, you wouldn't believe it if she didn't tell you.
Yeah.
But she left high school in 10th grade.
Was she? What makes you say that? Was she very learned?
Because she was, and she very inquisitive. She would go learn how to do stuff. She could read and write, and all. And she said I worried her to death when I was a baby because I'd tell the labels off the can and want to know what this spelled, that and the other, But they preached education.
Yeah.
My dad used to tell us all the time, you get your knowledge in your head, then they can't take it from you, if you get some knowledge. So
Yeah. So
they
sort of
preached that. And then his daddy, the little country school they went to up there, my granddaddy on my daddy's side, he was like the neighborhood, they built a little school, kept the firewood there, people had to walk to school, but they did.
Yeah.
They sure did.
So it sounds like he was sort of the professor. In
Right.
The community.
Yeah, my granddad.
Yeah. Well, what was your paternal grandfather's name?
Dan Younger, Jr.
Dan Younger. Okay.
And then his wife, she was there. When we was growing up in the summer, she made all the kids in the neighborhood. She made tea cakes and Kool-Aid and stuff, but you had to be able to read a book, learn how to read and do all that. She did that in the evenings. Kids used to look forward to it. So it was just a nurturing family. I still got a nurturing family.
Yeah. I love the tea cakes.
Yeah,
the best.
Yeah, they were good.
You didn't even have to tell me. No, I mean.
Yeah. So.
And what was her name? This is your paternal grandfather?
Grandmother.
Grandmother.
Netta.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm trying to remember how to spell it. Nea, Netta, Ther, I believe it is.
Okay. Yep.
I had to get with my sister to find that,
That's
make
right.
sure.
That's all right.
And she was an almond.
Almond. Okay. So they're very sort of educational focused.
Right, they were focused on it, even though they didn't, they wanted things to be better for us.
Right. They didn't have really access to formal education.
No, really, they really didn't.
Yeah. Okay. When your father was born?
He was born August 1st, 1922.
Okay. And what about your mom?
She was November 7th, 1927. I get her birthday and anniversary was back to back 6 and 7. I had to think about which one is which.
Yeah. Okay. So tell me about when you started in school. Where did you start?
I started at Ann Brooks Kindergarten.
Okay.
When I was about 4 or 5.
And that's in Yazoo City?
Yes, Lamar Street. In fact, that's what they call it now, Lamar Street Kindergarten.
So it's still there? Yeah. All right.
Well, I don't know whether it's in use or not, but the building is still there.
Gotcha. All right. Where'd you go from there?
Went across the street to the elementary, which was at that time Yazoo City. They called Yazoo City Training School, or number 2.
Yeah. Training school. And how long did you go there?
I went through 12th grade.
Okay. Same building?
No.
Okay.
They were all right there together. The elementary, then the middle school, which we called junior high back then, and then the high school, all right there at 5th and Lamar.
You remember anything about those days? What was it like?
Quite a bit. School, it was fun. I enjoyed going. I hated missing school. And I guess you'd say inquisitive. I liked to read, and then we had some good teachers.
Yeah.
Growing, that I think we were blessed. They understood where we come from, that we were poor and all that. And then you went to church with them. You went to school. You could mess up in school, and when you get home, somebody, mom or your dad already know that you didn't have phones, a whole lot of phones.
Yeah.
But the word be done got home.
Yeah.
By the time you get
home.
Right.
Yeah.
And then it's not like now, like in Jackson here, all the teachers, the preachers and all, they live out in the suburbs, basically. You know what I'm saying? Then they come in, they work their 8 hours, and most time they just out. We were raised by a village.
Yeah.
Because I could be punished anywhere in Yazoo City. And the word be done got home by the time I got home, and I was going to get punished again.
Yeah.
So that's the way we were raised.
Yeah, I somewhat recall that. Okay.
And I went through school. My dad didn't believe in bringing no bad grades, so I had to keep my grades up. After I got in high school, if I wanted to participate in sports or anything, I still had to have my grades. So, it was just, I made 1 C in 12 years.
Yeah.
And, well, I can't say that. I had an English teacher that I made. I never flunked his class, test.
Yeah.
But he didn't think I was, him and another teacher thought I wasn't doing as much as I should be doing. So
Yeah.
I'm going to tell your parents, so they get your parents. So what he did was each 6 weeks, I went from A, B, C, D, E. I mean, D, F. And then I finished with an A average. But that's what he was sent home. That's so, because he knew my parents, because my mama would go up until I was about 7th grade. The day they registered, she'd take all, well, it was me, 3 of us at that time, and go to each teacher that we had. We're sending them out here to learn. If you have any problems, deal with it. Yeah. All we ask is you let me or their daddy know. And I promise you, you won't have that problem no more. And I mean, they were serious, man.
Yeah.
My daddy didn't tell you but one time what to do.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay. Yeah, and so it sounds like they had the script down, though. They would give it every time.
That's right, every year.
Yeah.
I mean, up until I was about 7th grade. I mean, you walking, you embarrassed, but they didn't care.
Yeah.
But it made me do what I was supposed to do, too, you know what I'm saying? And
so you were good in, you liked school.
Yeah.
You liked the academic side of school.
Right.
You didn't feel any shame around it. You did it and enjoyed it.
Yeah.
What about athletics? Were you sporty?
Yeah, after I got in high school, we played in the, sandlot and all that. But I ended up playing basketball and football. And coach wanted me to pitch, but I wasn't a baseball. My cousins, they started at Pee Wee and all. I wasn't that interested in it really. Other than my daddy was a big Dodger fan, Brooklyn Dodger fan, So I listened, but I really didn't get into playing. Softball and all that. And intramurals I'd play. And coach tried to get me out there, and I ended up being the statistician.
Okay, all right. Wow, so you were talk about a love for sort of academics. Yeah, there you were. All right.
And I was quarterback, believe it or not.
I believe it. Were you always tall?
Not really. When we graduated from middle school, I was like in the middle of the line according to height.
Yep.
And when we graduated, me and I teased him old buddy. He passed away last year. We had to march together. Everybody else had a girl. So for 50-some years, we've been teasing each other. I had to march with him, man. All the women in the class, I had to march with him. That was our little joke. Right. At reunions and stuff.
But it's because you were both
both tall. Yeah. Right. I grew that much.
Yeah. So how tall are you now?
About 6'4", a half maybe.
All right. So you've been that way since about high school.
Right.
Yeah.
From 8th grade to 9th grade, I just shot up. After graduation, come back that next year, I had shot up.
Yeah.
And weighed about 95 pounds when I graduated.
Okay. Yeah.
And then I came to Jackson State and played at football.
Okay.
With Walter Payton's brother, Eddie Payton, and all that crew.
Yeah, I saw they got a monument up to him now.
Right. And Walter came out last year.
Right.
But I left and went to the Highway Patrol. I didn't finish college then. I went to the Highway Patrol. I applied for the Highway Patrol.
All right. So what year did you graduate high school?
68.
68. And you started Jackson State at the same time?
This fall of 68, yeah.
All right. How long do you go before you go to the patrol school?
The patrol school was 72, so I went to the end of my junior year, put it that way.
Okay.
And I was getting married in love with my high school sweetheart. So I was working at the newspaper, Clarion Ledger, in the mailroom at night. So we were planning to get married, and then this came along. They started interviewing the suit. I knew about the suit, but I didn't know the details and all. I wasn't involved in it like Mangum and them, But I was, we were kind of the generation after Dr. King got killed. We made it. I guess it was like nationwide. We got a chance to do something. So our generation basically integrated almost everything. If you look back, and they were saying that they couldn't find nobody to pass the test and all that. So one day I said, well, I'll go see what the test is like. And I went and applied. The last week they were accepting applications, and took it up there. It was like a Friday, and I think I needed some other a birth certificate or something. I couldn't get it, so I had to take that back the next week. But that was how I got into it.
Yeah. So we're in '72.
Mm-hmm.
This is gonna be like spring of '72.
Right. But I was at Jackson State doing the shooting in '70
Yeah.
also.
Tell me what you remember about that.
Oh wow, that was a heck of a week. Kent State, the same was at about the same time, and the National Guard, they had the shooting up there, and everybody was, it was just that protesting the wall and everything, and then at that time Lynch Street went through the campus, so some folks got mad and stuff. They started throwing bricks at cars with white, passengers and stuff and all. So they brought in the Highway Patrol and Jackson PD one night. It was a lot of nothing, really the same thing. So they shut the street down, but they just kept going on. And the next day, it went all day, all night, well into the night. And I was standing in front of Alexander Hall with the crowd, and somebody threw a Ripple wine bottle, and it hit the street, and the shooting started, And that's what I remember. And in the aftermath, people I knew had been shot. And the most vivid thing I remember about it was the latest dorm, all glass, that lobby. And so we crawled, hit the ground, and ended up crawling inside the building. But when it was all over with, there were 2 lines of bullets, about waist high across that window, and then about head high. And that stuck with me.
Yeah, they were not shooting to.
No.
They were shooting.
And then they got girls got hit up on the 5th floor and all that. If you go, you can probably still see some of the aftermath of the bullets.
Yeah, I stop by every time I'm on campus.
Right.
I mean, it's.
And then the little high school kid, he got killed. He was just walking through campus.
Yeah.
And Philip was a classmate of ours. Gibbs was.
So you knew Gibbs?
Yeah, I knew Philip. So, but anyway, it just, so we go integrate the Highway Patrol, but they couldn't, claim they couldn't find anybody. So I applied for that.
On paper first, right?
I just did paper.
Yeah.
Then I got it, after I got everything in and all, and I got a letter to report to the armory over there by the stadium, National Guard Armory, to take the test, the written test.
Yeah.
So I was curious about that. What test could be that hard? Could nobody pass it? You know what I'm saying? And all it was Army Civilian Classification Test. And so I took it and pretty much knew I passed it. And just a couple of weeks after that, I got a letter saying I had passed, and called this number, set up an interview and all that, and did that. And then they said I was accepted. Got all this information and stuff. As a matter of fact, I met the day of the interview, the day I met R.O. We had the same date, time frame for interview.
Mm-hmm.
Been knowing him ever since.
Yeah.
But
well, tell me about the interview portion. I mean, what was?
Well, they knew that I was at Jackson State, and they knew I was there that night and all, and I got questioned quite a bit about Was I joining the highway patrol to get revenge? I did that kind of stuff, you know.
They just straight up asked you.
Yeah, you don't
Is this
hold
a
any
vengeance?
grudges. You know, you got to work with these guys. You know, you don't hold any grudges against. And I say, well, because I wouldn't know him if I saw him anyway. I just say, no, I ain't built like that. Because they were, the truth be known, they were provoked now. They had a, but you know, you expect them to be under control. You know, that's what, after being there, you know, you're supposed to be able to keep you cool because you know that's coming. But they were verbally abused. I put that. They were.
Yeah. So right, because you were there, and I did not realize this. So
Yeah.
you were standing in front of the building. You had
where
to,
all the shooting took
right.
place.
You had to hit the ground,
Right,
not
crawl,
to get shot.
right, and belly crawl all the way from the street up to the inside the lobby.
Well, tell
And
me
then
about,
after all that was over, then this when the National Guard come in with the tanks and turn the barrels straight at the door. And I say they ready to kill all of us, man.
like the machine gun, yeah, right, or the actual.
No, I'm talking about the tank
like a
itself.
tank on tracks.
Right, right. They come down.
Wow.
And,
Well, tell me. I mean, you said that they were not unprovoked. Tell me what you know.
I say unrevoked, invoked, revoked. What I mean by that, you know, it was a crowd of us, and they over there, and then you know they got verbally abused. You know, we ain't going nowhere, so on. So it was back and forth, you know.
So they were yelling back.
Yeah, and you know, trying to get us to move and all. They locked down. You couldn't go out to campus. You couldn't come out. Yeah, it was a long night.
So despite, I mean, I'm somewhat curious that despite seeing possibly the highway patrol at their worst, right? You chose to.
Well,
What?
that was the only way it was going to change. If we weren't there, it never would have changed, probably. You know what I'm saying? So, after I got accepted, they had no. I knew of a couple of black policemen, and then when we got to Jackson, they had a bunch of them. I say bunch, probably 15 or 20. But before that, we had Yazoo City. They had 2. But they didn't only work one side of the track, you know what I'm saying? They didn't go to the white neighborhoods and all that. So we didn't have no role models in law enforcement. I didn't. And but I said, you know, I done did all this. If I don't follow up, then I'm just one of them. They just say I didn't pass the test, so go on. You know, that's the way I looked at it. So I say I got to pursue it. And so I did. And it turned out to be a good career for me, though.
Yeah.
I learned a lot, went places I never thought I'd go, met people I never thought I'd meet, you know, from presidents all the way to blues singers and everything, you know. So.
I want to talk about both of those at some point. Okay, so you make it past the verbal interview, then comes training school, right?
Right, cadet school.
Yeah. Tell me about that.
Well, it was tough. It was 5 blacks showed up. I think it was 50 of us or something that started. I think 32 graduated. And 2 of the blacks left the first 6 weeks. One the first week, and then the second one, we were riding together, taking turns driving out to the academy, and it was my turn to pick him up, and I came, and his I don't think it was his wife at that time. She came to the door and said he ain't going. Mr. Cheeks, and so the other one left. He couldn't stand the blood and guts, the accident scene. They give you had a film that they show you, you know, results of accidents and some very horrific accidents. And he got up in the middle of the movie and told him he was gone.
Whew.
Yeah, he couldn't take that.
Really? In the middle of the movie? Wow. Okay.
Yeah, he went and called his wife, told her to come get him. He was from the coast.
Yeah.
So we did 13 weeks, 12 weeks actually in the academy, and then we had to go back and do implied consent to breathalyzer school for a week, 40 hours. So, but it was tough. It was so hot. That was the summer that it was about 100 degrees for about 3-4 week period there. And it's what we call a skid pan. You know, we had to march on it, and then if you mess up, what they call it, the standing rest position. You know,
They tell you when to go
right.
up and when to go down. Yeah.
And folks had blisters on their hand. That's how hot it was.
Oh man.
Yeah, and but you know, I played at Jackson State. We had a coach called Robert Bob Hill, and he was. There wasn't that much they could do to me physically to hurt me.
That he hadn't already done.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, he was old school. And anyway, but that didn't bother me. And I was 21. I was in pretty good shape. And so I got through that. Everybody else would be, and then the studying part. I don't know, I guess my mama always said that if I studied, I probably could have been anything I wanted to be. But stuff just kind of came easy. You know, if I heard it one time or read it one time, I could, you know, retain a lot of it.
Yeah.
And so I got through the academic part of it with no problem. That my problem was shooting. My dad and them quit hunting when I was young. My uncles, they all moved away, so they didn't. My daddy didn't go like they did when I was small.
Yeah.
And so I never did. And so I had problems qualifying with the handgun. And so I finally got that down, and then it was, you know, I was a sigh of relief.
Yeah.
But
Did you have to practice when you went home or anything like
no, because I didn't have no gun to
All right,
practice with.
And they had you trained on your service pistol, which was the big, shiny 357.
Right. We had the Model 19, I believe it was. Not 19. The long barrel. But anyway, that's what we had.
Yeah.
And we graduated with the Model 19, was the barrel, shorter barrel. And that was the one we actually trained on. After they issue, but we have to turn them in every day. And but I finally made it. So that was a relief. Everything else I did pretty good in. I finished probably top 5 in the class. Probably would have been higher because the firearms was a major course. So.
Yeah. So that was all posted. You knew sort of where.
Yeah, you knew where you stood. Yeah.
Okay.
And so that was it was like I say, it didn't look like it was gonna never end. And then after about 8 weeks, it wasn't no. It was just like routine, you know. Everybody halfway in shape, so now
Yeah.
working as a unit.
Well, so this is the first training school with black cadets.
Right.
There are no people of color in positions of authority over you.
No.
It's going to be all white people.
The only blacks at the academy were Miss Mamie and them in the kitchen, and Sam was the custodian. Everything else was white.
So Mamie and Sam, did you...
Miss Mamie Smith. Oh yeah, you know, they took care, you know.
You got to know them.
After a while, the other cadets, y'all, man, y'all get special treatment in the cafeteria, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, they took care of us and Ed, you know, told us they were proud of us and don't give up and all that. It meant a lot.
Yeah.
It helped us get through it.
What was the hardest part? I mean, besides the shooting, but just thinking of like, you know, being somebody in a mine, sort of going through the place. What was the hardest part?
The hardest part was, I guess, remembering what I was there for, really. You know, because things were said, heard. I heard a lot of stuff, you know, that I didn't like, but I couldn't let it get to me. So, you know, dealing with that. And I'd be so glad when Friday come. That's right. Get your mind straight, get ready for another week. So, but, you know, after you, when you, it's kind of like the military, I guess, you know, after a while, I got to depend on you, you got to depend on me to keep us from, because, you know, they punish you as a group. One mess up, everybody gets punished and that kind of thing. So we kind of, I ain't going to say we had all developed a love for each other, but we learned how to live together and do what we had to do, you know.
Yeah.
We all of us was on a mission. We started, you know, pushing each other on, helping each other when we could. And then, you know, after about, like I say, after the first few weeks, that's what they start. At first, we don't need you. You can't keep up. Go home. You know, you have to weed the week out.
Yeah.
And that was before women started. So you had to be. I mean, we had ex-soldiers that couldn't take it.
Yeah.
They left.
All right, so you mentioned sort of not letting the stuff get under your skin.
Right.
The stuff that's meant to sort of throw you off.
Right.
Is that coming from commanding sort of authority figures, or is that coming from white classmates?
You could feel it. The staff, we had a pretty good staff. They knew they were under scrutiny. They were, you know, being watched, so they didn't overtly, you know, portray any, I guess, racism or hatred. But, you know, you can feel when you ain't really welcome sometimes. And then you had the guys that come through looking, you know. Then after a while we started riding, you know, when you go home, on the weekends you had to do, you had to ride with a veteran trooper, you know, one on like that Saturday.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I remember first time I rode with Douglas Jackson. They call him Big Red. He worked Flora, 49 North out of Jackson. And he had a reputation for being mean and all, but he wasn't, me and him got along good. I mean, we didn't have any problems. He'd take me home, we eat, and all, at his house, all that kind of stuff. But we were out riding, and we went to the little coffee shop there in Florida, and they had a little town marshal. He saw Red come in, that's what we call him. And then I was right behind him. He said, "Oh, you need the jail open," you know. And you know, stuff like that. When I first got stationed at Florida, after I got out on my own, I stayed with Miss Katie Boyd and her husband, Clarence and Katie Boyd. That was in Florida. I had a room there. And sometime during the night, during that first year, somebody scratched KKK right on the hood where I'm driving, so it'd be right there.
Wow. This is on your service car?
Yes, yeah, on the patrol car, yeah. And, you know, I had reported it now, and they said, "You want to take it to the body shop, and get it buffed out?" I said, "No, we're going to leave it there. That'll keep me on my P's and Q's, you know." And then at the little service station there where we gassed up in Florida, they had, matter of fact, one of them was a retired deputy sheriff, now the kid. You know how some kids are, that's all they want to do is be policemen from the time they live, so they were always running up asking questions. So they asked me about, you ain't scared? I say, yeah, I'm a little scared, but one thing they need to know is that I've been trained to pull this .357, shoot 6 rounds, reload 6 and shoot 6 more in 12 seconds. So they better be quick. You know, they better be something. I just like that. I say, so if you see them, tell them I said that.
The KKK.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So you know, it's kind of a joke like that. But the guys I ended up working with, and then people, I ain't have no problems. I got in one physical confrontation in 20 years, and I was in CIB then, and we were working a burglary case down in Jefferson County, and we were taking a guy, a little young guy. He was like a bully in the town of Fayette. Everybody was scared of him, and he decided he wanted to put his hands on me. So that was the only confrontation I had physically.
Yeah.
I don't know. Even around here, they say, "How you get them to do stuff and we can't get them to do?" But I mean, you know, I don't know. I guess maybe playing ball, I was like the captain of the basketball team, captain of the football team, and president of the class. So it was kind of in leadership positions, So you learn how to deal with different people because you can't holler at this one.
Yeah.
I can scream at this one, that kind of stuff. So I learned, I guess, I had good people skill. And my dad had told me when I went home and told him that I didn't tell him anything until I got accepted. And that's what I was going to do. My mama started crying, man, they go kill you out there. And then my dad had said, if that's what he want to do, let him do it. And I said, he said, that's what you want to do? I said, yeah, Dad. I mean, I done took the test and all. They said, could nobody else pass and all. It make no sense for me to be unqualified and then I don't go. And he said, well, I'm going to tell you one thing. Treat people like you'd like to be treated. And I think everything will be all right. And that's what I did all my life, I don't, no matter who you were, where you come from, and, winos, all that. I was never disrespect. I don't like disrespecting people, period. And it paid off. I've put people in jail and said they've seen me later. Oh man, you remember me? I said, your face looked familiar. He said, you locked me up. He said, but I deserved it, and you didn't mistreat me. So that meant a lot. And then, you go out somewhere and a lot of the other officers, they think they got to have a gun on them. I ain't never, off duty, I ain't never with no gun. But I go out just like they would, talk to people and all. It's just the way you carry yourself. That's what I thought, And if you respect somebody, then they'll respect you.
Yeah.
That's the way I...
Wow. I mean, this is great. There's so much there. Let me circle back.
I'm telling you.
Yeah, let me circle back.
I could get carried away.
No, I see if I can pick up a few things.
Right.
So you're in high school. You're at Jackson State. You have no sort of law enforcement role models.
Right.
Did you want to be something?
Well, I had said I was going to try to be a doctor.
Yeah, sure.
But, after you get to school, away from home, little small town, I wasn't studying like I should.
Yeah.
So, but I was a biology major when I first came to Jackson State. And, but that was my intentions. And that's what one of the times my mama said, you ain't putting your mind to it, because you need to study. But in high school, I never took books home. In high school, I left them in my locker. You know about that.
Yeah. What was it about medicine that attracted you?
I don't know. I guess, I don't know. Wanting to help people, I guess, is about all I can say, But that was one of the things I looked at. I thought about doing, but I never really pursued it like I should have. And then in love with, so thought I was anyway. We stayed married 2.5 years.
Okay. All right. So this is you met At Jackson State? No,
No,
high school.
high school.
Sweetheart. Yeah.
Yeah, we were classmates.
Yeah. Can you walk me through your mom's response? Why did she respond the way she did when you?
I was her big baby. All of us was her babies, and she thought I was gonna get my white folks was gonna kill me out there. You know, somebody was gonna try to kill me. And she was very she tears. She could get some tears in a hurry. So she was just so emotional, you know.
Yeah.
Maybe after. But she was a good mom. That's all I can say.
Yeah.
But I think that was just the basis of it. She was scared for her baby,
Yeah.
you know, because I was endeavoring in something nobody else had done.
First.
Yeah.
Well-
and then she knew the history of, you know,
Well, I was going to
the
ask.
race.
You know what? Do you think they knew your parents knew the highway patrol by reputation or by?
I'm
sort
sure
of,
they've heard, you know, because I've heard, you know, my uncles and all talk about, you know, because they had cars. They were older than me, and you know, but they knew it was just common knowledge, you know. And then even in high school, after when Dr. King got killed, we tried to integrate everything. We went to movies, you know. We had to go upstairs, and they had in the old hard seats, and the whites had the big cushions. So we started going down there, and that kind of stuff, you know. And the police, trying to think of the one with name. He wore Pearl Hound pistols. But he was bad. But at that time, after Dr. King got killed, you know, it was just a different attitude among us.
Was that in Yazoo City?
Yeah, I think it was nationwide.
Yeah.
You know, that like I say, our generation. If you look at it, we kind of started integration, really. You know what I'm saying? Even in the schools, you know, it started when we were there.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, I mean, it would have. Would the Yazoo City schools desegregate at all during your time in high school?
Technically not, but you know they had 5 or 6 that they had selected from the Catholic school, and they wanted them to come over to smarter kids. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And maybe the more affluent kids, black kids,
Some
families,
tokenized sort of. Yeah.
But they even tried to get me to come over there, because we scored, me and 2 or 3 other of my classmates and all, we scored as high as they did on the ACT and the National Merit Test and all.
Yeah.
So they figured but I didn't want to go. I refused to go. But some did.
Yeah.
But and then it was mandated in 70.
Okay, so you missed it by 2 years.
The mandate, yeah.
Yeah. What about it for you was not attractive?
I didn't want to make them look good. Basically, that's what it.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, and then like I said, I played football. We got secondhand stuff from them, from their school. That's what we played in and all that kind of stuff. And I just didn't want to go.
Yeah. Wow. All right. I'm still, you know, Mr. Young, you got to help me think through this now. So you go in, you're sort of personally with friends desegregating spaces after 68, right? You're sort of in a point where like, you know, I've had enough. And, you know, you're being faced down with sort of white supremacist law enforcement, like the guy with the pearl-handled revolver.
Right,
And
like I say, it was
almost
a big
being
decision.
killed by the highway patrol.
It was a big decision, but you know, I just said I can make a difference. I figured I thought I could do it. You know,
It also sounds. Tell me if you think this is true. That you saw it as a challenge, like you know, because they were saying that like we can't
do
find
that,
anybody
right? And
to
the blacks
pass the
to do this
test, and
all that. So yeah, it was a challenge personally. You know, that was my personal challenge.
Yeah.
That I'm gonna show them I can do it.
yeah,
And I did it better than a lot of them did. I ain't bragging, but I mean,
I believe you. So we've got about 20 minutes left or so, and I'll try to get us down to a good
Yeah.
place to close up. But let's get some things on your career in the patrol.
Okay.
You start in '72, stationed at Flora.
Mm-hmm.
How long do you stay on the road in Flora?
I stayed in about 2 years,
Okay.
and then I transferred over to the other side of Madison County, up 55, that area.
Okay. Is that a place name that we would know?
Canton, maybe.
Canton, all right. But all Madison County.
Well, the Flora assignment, my first assignment was Hines County, 49 North, that is. So that would be Hines, Madison, Yazoo.
Okay. So they sent you sort of back
Oh,
home.
right.
Right.
They kept me around Jackson.
Yeah. right. But is that, I mean, my take, is that could be unusual or it could happen?
It was not the norm, but it happened. It had happened before me. It happened since me, you know.
Yeah. Okay. After sort of the Canton assignment, did you get another assignment on the road?
While I was doing the Kansas, the Madison, we'll just say Madison County assignment because I stayed in Jackson. I didn't.
Sure.
But I went the next, well, they had a black come out in '73, then one in '74. Then they froze the hiring for one reason or another. And then they started back in '78, and I went to the training academy to help with the training
And that was a full time.
for that while the academy was going on,
Gotcha.
temporary assignment,
Okay.
and I did that until 80, maybe 85, 84, 85, somewhere along in there. Of each cadet class.
Were you still in Madison County on the road in the
I was
meantime?
in Jackson.
Jackson.
I went after I came out the academy. They put me on 20 West, between Hines and Warren County.
Right. Okay.
And see, they were running classes pretty. It would only be for a few months at a time because
But they were more frequent.
right, classes were more frequent then. And then when the next time after I come out, I went 55 south to Copiah County out of Jackson.
Yeah. I don't guess it really mattered much to you though, right? Because
No.
you were living in Jackson.
Yeah, right. Look, because I couldn't be around Jackson, that was all right.
Yeah. All right.
And then in '80, I went to the MBI, I believe it was. It was CBI. It was CIB then,
Right.
criminal investigation.
All right. How? So I
First, in '80, I went to internal affairs.
oh, all right. Well, I mean that's an assignment that
Right.
is sort of notorious in the world
Right,
of law
right,
enforcement.
right.
What was that like working in IA?
Well, I thought it was a benefit. I learned a lot, and I thought I was in a position to help other blacks, keep from getting railroaded and stuff, because some did, in my opinion.
Yeah. Give me an example of what that would look like.
Well, a charge that they probably would transfer a white officer. They try to fire a black officer.
What were some of the charges?
Oh, ooh, what would that be? Most time it was like doing something. Let me see. I'm trying to think of a good one. That would be a good comparison. Most time it was just because that trooper wasn't liked in that area. They had probably wrote the wrong person, most likely. Some of that nature. But they get him for any little thing. Office run, office out is beat, start adding little stuff, and then they come down with the hammer. And then I knew of white officers, the drunk on duty and all that. And they slap them on the hand, suspend them a few days, and send them right back, stuff like that. And matter of fact, my first partner, D.O. Jackson, he was on suspension when I came out of patrol school.
And you were assigned to him.
Right.
Yeah.
But they were hot with him. I don't know, the RNA, you remember that group?
Yeah, Republic of New Africa.
Yeah. He was a little gun salesman, he had sold some guns to some of those members, I think, and they kind of got on him about that, and that was his punishment. Then he was notorious with wives, too. So.
You mean his wives or other people?
Other people's wives.
I see. All right.
So but anyway, but like I say, we got along good. I tell people, the patrol school itself, at that time it was tough. No women, so they, then the drill instructor was a Marine DI, ex-Marine DI and all. So, we went through all that part of it. But it wasn't too hard. But it was tough. And at that time, it was like, if you could make it, you got a little respect for finishing. Mm-hmm. For wearing that uniform, being able to wear that uniform, believe it or not, because people looked at law enforcement different then. Law enforcement officers, for the most part, were respected members of the community. And the Highway Patrol, either you can say what it was, but it taught us, it preached that we were the best law enforcement agency in the state of Mississippi. So, and people treated you like that too, So it was good. I tell people I was good for the Highway Patrol, and they were good for me, Like I say, I got to meet people, go places. I got to go to the FBI Academy, National Academy.
When was that?
In 90. The 162nd session.
Okay. That meant a lot to you.
Yeah. And it might have been, let's see, I wasn't the first black because Doug, I was supposed to go to class, but my son was just born, and I didn't want to leave him. I mean, he was like 6 weeks old or something, so I asked if I could, so Doug Stewart went in my place. And so I went to the 162nd session. I went to Southwest Legal Foundation. It was at the University of Texas at Arlington. I was field training an officer coordinator. I went to the University of North Florida then. They taught a 40-hour class for instructors. And I pretty much wrote the first written field training officer manual for the Mississippi Highway Patrol.
You wrote it?
I put it together.
Yeah.
Me almost by myself, me and my secretary.
Yeah.
I was majored in special projects. And so put that manual together, set up the training for the officers, help select them. So that was you asked me the question about how would they get rid of. Before then, they assign you to somebody, and then in 30 days they say they think you're gonna make it, or they don't think you're gonna make it. And sometimes that officer like tell you go take you to lunch and leave and don't come back and get you for 4 or 5 hours, stuff like that. You know what I'm saying?
Mind games.
It wasn't nothing written, no regular how it was to be done. So I had a little sheet you had to fill out every day on the trooper and all that. Yeah, put it together. I did it. I was first to do a lot of stuff,
Yeah.
I guess.
So I'm guessing you'd be the first black trooper in internal affairs.
Yeah.
Were you the first black trooper in CIB, what's now the MBI?
Yep.
Okay. So you start CIB.
But see what I did CIB, I laterally transferred to CIB, but because the internal affairs position carried the same rank and pay grade as the sergeant. I mean, in the CIB
Yeah.
investigator. And then after I stayed in that, and then they asked me to come back to the uniform, and I came back as the master sergeant. And then a couple of years later, the captain's position came open. That was like '86, I believe. And but the way they had it wrote up, master sergeants and lieutenants could apply for the chief commander's position. Mm-hmm. And I made the top 3, and they selected me for the troop commander in Jackson, Troop C.
Okay, so you were captain of Troop C.
And then the major position came along. And they pretty much, you interviewed and everything, took tests and all, but you know, that if the administration wants you in one of them, that's who go get that, the colonels, you know, because they work right up under them.
Okay.
So I was selected as a major.
What year was that?
Ooh. I got all that wrote down. Do you have, I think it's in that program from we had.
Great.
I think it
Arlo,
is.
give me one.
Yeah.
All right, that's great. Well, that's all I need on that. Whew. All right. Did you miss the road work once you got into the administration?
The best position I had was troop commander, Troop C. If I could have kept that position, my whole career I'd stayed right there. That was the best position to me.
What made it so good?
Because I had a lieutenant to do all the paperwork. And by the time everything, I had 4 master sergeants to supervise the men. And by the time it get to me, all I need to do is proof it or sign off on it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And pass it on to the major.
All right. How many? Just so I'm clear, how many majors were there in the state?
At that time, we were divided into 3 regions.
Okay.
North, Central, South.
And a major was?
And a major over each, one of those. We all had probably 10 or 11 counties apiece, maybe more than that.
Okay.
I mean, 3 troops apiece. Because it's 82 counties, we had 3 troops. It's 9 troops, so each one of us had 3 troops under us.
Gotcha.
And I had Brookhaven, Meridian, and Jackson.
Okay. Sounds like that was.
I had Gulfport, Brookhaven. They had cut it to 2 northern when I left because I had Gulfport, Jackson, Brookhaven, Meridian, Gulfport, Hattiesburg. Meridian might have went north, but I had Hattiesburg, Gulfport, Brookhaven, Jackson. One more in there. Might have been Meridian.
Okay.
Which I know it was. And another moment that stood out, the Klan had a big rally in Neshoba County, Meridian, and which was in my region, so Meridian at that time.
Yeah. Any idea what year about this would have been?
Oh, probably 89, 90s, probably somewhere along in there, 91, maybe.
All right.
And so the sheriff over there, you know, it was a political thing for him and the captain. So he come to the highway patrol, wanted us to take command of the situation.
He couldn't be seen as
Right.
policing the Klan. Yeah.
Basically, that's probably it.
Yeah.
And So I had to walk into school, high school gymnasium, the only black face in there, and quiz the Grand Wizard as to, you understand, we had all the protocol, the regulations, what we expected of them and all. Asked him if he understood it all. And he had to sign it, and then I signed it. And that was a big moment to me.
What made it a big moment?
Yeah.
What made
because that was the Klan. I'm the only black face in the building. And they had to, if I don't sign it, you don't have a parade permit.
Yeah.
So,
So you're sort of saying that by choosing to sign it that was a big deal.
Right.
We attempted not to sign it.
No, we didn't discuss it.
Right.
They did everything they were supposed to do to request, in requesting the parade and all. But this was a formality, the signature.
And how did the event go?
It was pretty peaceful. I had about 100 men over there, but we stayed out of sight. We didn't, as long as it was though they didn't need us. We didn't. I walked the parade route, rode up. Just a few supervisors and stuff, but we never even brought the other troopers out. And then when it was over, they probably didn't even know they had been there. A lot of people didn't.
A lot of people in plain clothes.
Yeah, they had plain clothes. Yeah. And then the ride crew, fully ready for a ride.
Like
and all
tactical
that.
gear.
Tactical gear and all that. They stayed out.
I was going to say they were probably in a van somewhere.
Well, at the Sally Port at the jail.
Okay, all right.
Around the jail.
Wow. Well, that must have been an event.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right. Well, I know we're pretty much at time here. I just want to finish up the years on your career.
Okay.
When did you retire?
I left in '92.
92, so not long after the FBI.
Right. Well, yeah, about 2 years after FBI came.
And we'll find some other time to talk about.
Okay, I was ready to say if if you want to Zoom or something,
Sure.
you can do
No,
that.
I don't know what your hours are like. If you keep late hours like I do, we can make it work.
All right.
But just last question, tell us what you do here.
Okay, I'm a driver basically, and anything else they need me to do.
Yeah.
This was supposed to have been a 3 or 4 month part-time job until they could find somebody. They had lost a driver, but they since then they've increased in size and all. This was 4 years ago.
Yeah.
And basically just whatever I need. I don't do a lot of hands-on with the clients and all, but take care of the vehicles, gas them up and all that, pick up them in the morning, bring them here. They're here about 4 hours, most of them. Those that you saw out there, they people work all day, so they come pick them up.
And tell us what the place is.
Okay, this is Loving Health Care, Senior Daycare. LHC. They also do home health and all. Denise Healy is the owner. Sharon Foster is my supervisor over here. And like I say, I'm the do boy.
Yeah.
But now I help them out. I do it. I told them every time I see the owner, I say, "You found anybody else yet?" Mr. Young, I'm still looking. I ain't found. But I enjoyed it. I had got tired of sitting at home. My fishing partner, one passed away, and the other one still working. And my brother, his wife got sick, so he couldn't go. So I'd just be sitting at home. I was ready to do something.
Yeah.
And this is not hard work. And
is it rewarding?
Yeah. I like I say, I'm a people person, been that way most of my life, and I did some work in alcohol and drug abuse too. For some reason I can talk, I can deal with them pretty good, on their level.
Yeah. Well, Mr. Lewis Younger, thank you for your time today. I'm going to end the recording now.
All right.